What's on, guys? This is Mr. DeLorean with a brand new video. Welcome to my episode 8 of season 5 of Fear the Walking Dead. So this was the mid-season finale of this season and everything, and I wanted to get to kind of a more in-depth breakdown and everything, so top range this and that'll hop into the review. So there are two main plot points and two subplot points, but the second subplot point kind of gets a little bit more into like the second plot point, but let's hop right into it. So the first plot point features Morgan, Alicia, and Grace. So their plotline starts with the episode beginning when everyone, John, Luke, Charlie, Alicia, Al, the two truck people, and Sharon are trying to find people to save in a montage kind of format in kind of a flashback before the plane crash back in episode 1 when they had the base before Luke took it. They were all having no luck and everything until Morgan was sitting on the radio looking kind of sad because they're not finding anyone, until Alicia came into the room and just said maybe we're the last ones left on the earth, and Morgan basically denies it and says no, we can't be the last people on earth thing. There has to be more. We have to save people. We have to do something. And they kind of have a bit of a mini kind of moment and everything until she says the food is ready and everything, so they go to eat. Morgan leaves the room until a voice over the radio comes on and basically says we need help right now, and everything starts yelling. Morgan and Alicia hear this and run back into the room, pick up the walkie-talkie and start getting really excited and everything, saying that oh my god, we found people and everything. They start asking the people questions where are you, we can help you, everything's gonna be all right. And the person on the walkie ends up being Luke and everything, the people who tricked them to go to where they are in the first place and basically screwed them. So fast forward to modern day, and Alicia is taking a shower and everything in the back of Grace's truck, trying to wash all the blood off of her body and face, also showing that all of them found each other and everything. Grace, Morgan, and Alicia. After her shower, Grace tells her that the water's almost out and everything, that she needs to stop taking a shower, and basically tells Alicia you're gonna be all right and everything. The blood won't do anything to you. It's all right now that you got it all washed off. But Alicia is so scared right now about because it was all over her face and everything. She basically starts denying and saying no, I'm probably gonna die or whatever. Grace kind of snaps her out of it and everything. But as they're talking, they start hearing growling behind them. I mean, we see Morgan down the road directing a herd of walkers that Alicia was kind of directing everything back in the last episode and everything when she was trying to save the kids and everything. While Morgan's directing the herd and everything in the back, he kind of realizes that there's way more walkers gathering than he could take on or even gather or even lead. So he decides to run down the road to get Alicia and Grace into the car so they can drive away slowly and lead the herd while in a car, at least, so they're safe. So while they're driving slowly along the road, Grace gets an idea, basically to stop the car to the side and let the walkers pass and go towards the nuclear station, I think, because the huge noise is playing. So Grace pulls over to the roadside and basically tells everyone to get down. So everyone gets down, kind of behind the window so that they can't be seen by the walkers. So while they're all ducking down, all the walkers are past them. Almost every walker is done until the sirens of the nuclear plant and everything stop. They stop complaining and everything. Alicia looks up, basically saying, "Oh, that's bad," because obviously if the sirens stop, that means it's starting to melt down. It's going to explode any second now. So Alicia starts to kind of get up slowly and everything, and there it is. The huge explosion happens. The nuclear power plant explodes. You could hear it all the way from where they are. So obviously everyone starts getting worried and everything. And obviously, since they all got up, a couple walkers started coming, which started leading the entire herd towards their car. And Grace started trying to back up and everything, but she ended up getting them all stuck into a hole, leading them all basically having to get out of the car and start running the other way. Morgan grabs his signature stick. Alicia grabs her signature cylinder kind of stabby weapon, and Grace grabs her biohazard suit. They all run out and down the road. So they kind of start leading the horde away or the herd away and everything. That's the end of their plot line, but it'll continue a little bit later on. So subplot number 1, John and Dwight. So basically they're still looking for Sherry, but yet again their car breaks down every freaking time we get them. So they head to a car lot and try to find a new ride. There's a montage of them trying to hotwire cars, turn the keys inside the keyholes and everything, but none of the cars start. John and Dwight are getting very frustrated during this, especially John. He gets honestly way more pissed than we've ever seen him. He actually gets genuinely yelling angry. Dwight calms him down eventually until they walk over to a car, and John gets actually surprisingly happy very instantly and says this car will work. And Dwight gives him kind of a confused look and says you didn't even try turning the keys or hot wiring it yet. And John says he doesn't have to, as he pulls the windshield wipers up to the side as he reveals that there's some candy of the car, revealing that I think it might have been one of Sherry's cars. I'm not sure. That's the only thing I can think of. They get in, start it up, and they both get very happy and excited as it starts up. So as they're driving for a couple of hours, yet again, god damn it, the car breaks down. I swear, ever since Dwight came along and everything, every car just breaks the fuck down. They both get visibly like frustrated and everything, and John looks over and sees the melting nuclear power plant. They get out of the car and everything really scared and basically run to the side of like the road looking over at like the nuclear power plant, and you basically get really scared saying, oh shit, now it's melting. We know what that means. There's about to be radiation all over. They're viewing the smoke from the distance and until John hears June over the radio basically asking where they are. John says they're like really far from like, you know, even being near the plane. So John says he might not make it back until June gets really scared and says, and sad, and basically says, I'm coming to find you guys, like wait there, tell me where you are, I'm gonna come find you. But then John asks June to promise him something. He tells her to promise him that if she, like they're not back by the plane or anything, whether he's here or not, that she has to basically go, like leave him, like, you know, make yourself live and everything because you gave me a reason to live. They have some sweet dialogue, and June denies like his promise a couple of times, basically saying no, I'm like, we're gonna wait for you and everything, until like eventually she struggles and basically promises John that she'll leave no matter what. John tries to say I love you and everything to June and everything, but his walkie eventually just dies out and everything, and she hears like a little bit of it and it dies. So their kind of subplot ends right there, but yet again, like Morgan, Alicia, and Grace's, it'll pick up like later on kind of down the road in the episode. So the second main plot point is Alicia, June, Al, Strand, Charlie, Morgan, Grace, Alicia and everything, John, and Dwight. So basically in this plot, June, Alicia, Al, Strand, Charlie, and the kids use a pickup truck to haul almost like an almost done plane towards an open highway to make kind of a runway for the takeoff. But the whole time they're basically working on the plane, like that's all they're really doing, like while they're kind of like on the highway and anything, they're all just working on the plane. But while June is sitting in the back of the plane or anything, one of the kids, Dylan, asks her if she's scared about John not being back, whatever. She says she's kind of scared and everything, but then she says a lot of bad has been happening, but eventually a lot of good has to happen, meaning like, you know, she believes he'll come back. So June gets out of the plane to talk to Alicia or anything about like the plane and everything, how she's scared about John, but while they're talking, they hear Morgan over the radio, and he basically asks like very nervously, is the plane done? They look off into the distance and basically sees Morgan, Alicia, and Grace basically emerge from the trees with a whole horde of walkers behind them. June mentions to Morgan that John's not back yet, so Morgan basically says we're not leaving until he gets here, so we're going to need your help to fending off the herd. About 30 minutes pass and they're backing up with the walkers in front of them. They have guns pointed at them, slowly backing up. Morgan asks Grace if he can use his wrapped up stick and everything, because like the irradiated one or whatever. She says go ahead, like, you know, we're like a tons of nuclear waste about to like, you'll let out anyway, why not? So he goes ahead and unwraps and everything and basically gets his signature stick back, which is really good. Still backing up, we go inside the plane where Al and Strand are turning knobs, switching switches, until Alicia comes up behind Strand and basically says, you know, all the kids are strapped in, until Strand grabs her hand or whatever, and basically says your mother would be proud of you for like obviously like helping people and saving people, and like Alicia says she would not only be proud of me, but she would be proud of you too. So they kind of smile at each other. So while they're all backing up outside the plane, I think Morgan gets a radio call from Al basically saying they're gonna have to take off now, or they won't have like enough fuel to make it over the like mountain or whatever to get back to where they need to go. So June looks like really sad and everything with the thought of like losing John, but Morgan says like we have to go and everything, we have to like, you know, go. So they all turn around and start to run to the plane and everything, until behind them they hear a car horn beeping. June turns around and it's John and Dwight drifting in, shooting walkers. So John and Dwight and everything get out of the car and everything. They run to the plane. Everyone runs into the plane, gets strapped in. But unfortunately, one of the walkers, or a couple of walkers, actually latch onto the back of the plane or anything on like a line that they have in the back. They're about to take off until Al screams back to Morgan and John, basically saying they need to lose the dead weight or whatever really soon, or they're not gonna have enough like, you know, leverage to get up into the air. So Morgan and John kind of struggle to kill the walkers, but they eventually like get them and push them off and everything. Al and Strand look forward and see, like, I swear to you, like a mother load of smoke, like tons of smoke coming from the nuclear power plant, probably like a hurricane of smoke. So they pull like the levers back and everything and basically go and turn to the side and everything away from it. It's like all epic. So they lift off and start flying away, making it into the sky, flying high and calm. So things that happen on the plane, Morgan and Alicia kind of have some really funny dialogue moments and everything about like what they're gonna do when they get back and everything to make sure they keep like care of themselves and everything while saving people. It's revealed that John and Morgan have really big flying fears and everything, or at least it seems like it, which it's kind of funny. Grace breaks off the radiated part of Morgan's stick and everything, and they throws it out of the plane and everything. They kind of laugh. John proposes to June and everyone's happy. Hours pass from the plane, like, you know, getting off the strip and everything, and they see lights basically on like this other landing strip and everything that basically others created and everything back where they needed to go. Kind of all these like cool lights and everything on the landing strip or the runway. Strand notices that they're almost out of fuel until the lights on the runway turn off and the plane starts to beep, basically meaning it's out of fuel. It doesn't have a landing or can't see the landing. Everyone's flipping out. So everyone starts panicking basically and start inside the plane and like on like the landing strip or anything, because obviously their lights just went on. They have a possibility of making them crash. So that's the end of their plot line for now, because in the next subplot and everything, their lines all connect and everything. So we'll find out how everyone's like things end. So subplot 2, the 2 truck people, Daniel, Luke, his group, and I guess you could count Skidmark as a character. So this basically starts off with one of the truck people, the girl one, going to visit Luke at his compound, or the one he stole from the group in the beginning, to see if he can help or whatever with like, you know, the landing lights and everything for like everyone coming in during the night, because this the part that I'm talking about now takes place during the day. So basically Luke denies like the, you know, like helping them whatever, and basically says, you guys can have your compound back and everything, we're leaving, we couldn't find what we were looking for. So the girl drives away from there and everything, basically goes back to the landing strip to meet the guy truck person to reveal that to him that she couldn't find any like lights or whatever to help like lay up like, you know, the runway, and reveals that she only found like 3 flares, whatever. They get really frustrated until they see a car coming down the strip. They point their guns at the car until the car stops and Daniel gets out of the car with his hands up. Fucking Daniel. The truck lady says Dan the man and everything, which I guess is like a fine nickname that like she kind of has for him. They'll kind of reunite and everything until the lake lady goes over to the back of her truck and lets out Skiddy or Skidmark and everything out of his truck, and he runs to Daniel. They'll kind of joke a little until Daniel reveals that he has something to help with the landing, basically, you know, all the lights and everything. Night falls and they set up Christmas lights all around the landing strip, with the plane, like, you know, that they see actually now coming in. As the truck guy's pouring gas into the generator to keep the lights going, he spots a walker that could pull the cords and I think for the lights by walking over it. So he falls out of his wheelchair and everything to go over to shoot it until the walker dies and falls, unplugging the lights. The truck guy's crawling to plug the lights back in until he gets a panicked radio call from Strand, basically saying, you need to put the lights in now. Like, he's screaming. Everyone's panicking on the plane and on the ground or anything. Strand now are trying to find the landing strip, obviously, because there's no lights. The music's getting intense. Morgan, John, and everyone else are freaking out on the plane. The plane's quickly descending because of the, like, it's like lack of fuel, until the truck guy gets the lights, plug them back in, and Strand and Al like see they're way too close to the ground now or anything, and basically pull quickly up and basically start smashing down, you know, up and down everything on the landing strip or anything. Parts are flying off, people are screaming, everyone's like all flipping out, until the plane finally comes to a slow halt and everything. Everyone gets out, no one's injured, everyone's all good. So everyone gets out of the plane, and this is probably the biggest reunion scene of the season, like so far, I think, because basically this is everyone now meeting that like wasn't able to see each other all season. Morgan meets Daniel. It's revealed Al knew Daniel. Everyone laughs and smiles. Jokes are shared, reunions are had, but the biggest like reunion of all of them is Alicia seeing Daniel for the first time since he was shot back in season 3, and she thought he was dead. So they kind of have an emotional moment where Daniel says, I'm sorry about your mother. She says, I'm sorry about, like, you know, what happened to you and everything, all of that. But you think it's over, but it's not over yet. While everyone's joking, laughing, enjoying beers, and joking on the airstrip and everything, Morgan gets a panicked voice call from a woman over his walkie-talkie. It's a lady saying she saw the plane and she needs help, but the voice gets cut off by Logan, who basically says, I'm on my way. The car starts driving towards the runway, and everyone starts getting their guns out and walking over to like where the car's gonna stop or anything, and pointing their guns at like him, like all scared and everything. Like every one of the gun strips pointing at this one car. Logan gets out of the car and everything. Basically, not many people like him, and everyone gives him a hard time until it's revealed his people turned on him because he was not able to get them what they needed. So if he offers to get gas to help them save the girl on the walkie and others to help save like other people and everything, because he could get them gas so they can continue saving people, because obviously they need cars, and gas is a low, you know, commodity these days that's not around that much. So he could help them get lots and lots and lots of production on gas, whatever. You know, Logan the salesman, and basically they all agree and everything to his like offer and everything. And basically now in this season 5B, they're gonna be going getting gas and everything, you know, helping more people. And yep, that is where the episode ends. So that's a kind of the review. This episode was probably the most fucking action packed. It had the most going on. Everything was so good. Like, this was probably my favorite episode of the season. Like, I know I say about a lot of episodes or anything, but like, you know, I know it's like the mid-season like finale or thing, but this is probably my favorite episode of the season. My favorite part of this episode has got to fucking be like everything involved with like flying, like from like taking off in the plane to getting on the plane to building the plane to like, you know, flying the plane midair to them like crash landing or anything. Everything is amazing. Everything's amazingly done. The acting's amazing. Everything. Like, I'm not even joking. This is the first like Fear the Walking Dead scene where I was like smiling. Like, there's like a decent amount of moments like that or anything where I was like smiling this entire sequence because it was just all so like well done. Everything, the plane, everything was good. Like, especially how Strand was like, you need to get those lights on now, like screaming screaming at like, you know, like the one of the truck guys, you know, kind of the cliffhanger thing of like who's on the other side, that like walking and everything, the girl and everything, and then Luke makes his proposition and everything. Daniel like being reunited with Alicia and being reunited with everyone, Morgan meeting him, like even Dwight meeting like Daniel and everything. All of it's like so like funny and amazing. Just everything's good. I have a lot of faith for the second half of this season because like a lot of people don't like the first half or anything, which I don't blame them or anything. Not much has really been happening besides, you know, just the average saving kids and doing all that shit. But yeah, that was kind of my breakdown review. This is probably my longest actually. I'm just looking at our timer now. It's almost at 20 minutes. Yep, it's 22 minutes. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. It's the fucking almost 5 a.m. So I'm gonna go edit this, and yep, I'll see you guys later. Peace out, my amigos, and peace out.